What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. Normally, we have a Card Hedge podcast dropping at this time due to some gross negligence on my part. We had to kind of reschedule things, but we have a great episode lined up for next week. I'm super excited about it. So it's gonna be some good conversation. We're gonna have some really a really great guest come in that I'm really excited about. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for next week. I wanted to make this video. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while now. And in light of recent events, there's a lot of stuff going on in the market, within the collectible market and the hobby space that's kind of really making things look pretty grim at the moment. PWCC just recently, well, I don't think they announced, but it's some rumors out there, and I'm pretty sure they're substantiated by now, but that PWCC has laid off a good portion of their workforce. And things are tightening up. Sports Card Radio did a piece where they were talking about how at one point, big dollar cards, the big auction houses were offering loans for you to buy these big dollar cards, and so that as an investment opportunity, you turn around and flip them, and do all this other crazy stuff. There's been so much going on in the hobby in the last 2 years that has really kind of put things in a position where the crash is going to be pretty ugly for some folks, right? And a lot of that has to do with a lot of new people coming into the hobby, myself being included in that, right? Where I came back into this a little bit before the hype, but certainly knew enough to have been maybe influenced by the hype at some point. But I wanted to just talk about, some of the things that I've done in the hobby, myself as a collector, and really remained sort of kind of untouched during this whole up. I've been able to avoid the ebbs and flows of the market, right? And kind of the ups and downs. Now, I've some of these points I've reiterated several times, right? Buy what you like, don't buy the hype. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is that goes on social media or YouTube or wherever and tells you that a certain card is going to go up or down in value. The fact of the matter is that person is basically looking into a crystal ball and telling you what the future is going to be. And it's complete bullshit. As a collector and as somebody in the hobby who is collecting, you should never listen to somebody and buy with your hard-earned money a card that you don't 100% feel good about. Every card that I've bought in my collection, I've always felt really good about buying it, even if I bought it during a time of hype for that particular player. I go to my Brock Purdy examples all the time. I bought some base rookie mosaic Brock Purdy cards. I think I paid maybe like $15 or $20 a piece. I spent like maybe $60 or $70 on like 3 or 4 cards. I can't remember exactly. And if you look at the value of those cards now, I lost, $40, $50 or $30, $40 in buying those cards. I'm okay with that because of the reasons why I bought the cards. I bought the cards because it was a great story. It's a story that's going to continue on into this coming season where he's, there's a lot of back and forth about him being the starter, and there's just so much going on. And I'll be able to look back at buying those cards and not feel bad about it because I bought it because I liked the story. the entire idea there is that you should not be listening to anybody when it comes to buying the cards that you want to buy, because you're going to get in trouble if you do, right? Some of them could pan out. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people in this industry that are making a living off of the buying and selling of cards. But I guarantee you, if you talk to those people are doing it in a very sustainable manner by selling low-end cards. There's a lot of videos popping up on YouTube right now of people that are documenting their process of how they make money in this hobby sustainably by buying collections and buying them correctly and getting them at the right prices and selling them on eBay and making a living 50 cents, $1.50 at a time per card, and really getting to enjoy the grind and the work that it takes to sustainably build something like that. But unfortunately, for the last 18 to 24 months, 36 months, the social media space of the hobby has been overrun by the quick flips and the 10x profits and the, all this other sexy stuff that everybody's putting out there. And a lot of people got caught up into that hype. A lot of people got caught up in that web of, bright lights and shiny things that happens. And, a lot of media personalities have come out of this, and a lot of people have, established themselves as the go-to people to listen to so that you can buy a card and flip it for 10x profit and, make a profit. And it's not sustainable. And luckily for me, the biggest thing that I want to tell you guys is, if you're going to get into the hobby and you're going to get into collecting, do so from a standpoint of love. If you do it from a standpoint of love, you'll never end up getting hurt. I love basketball. As a child, I grew up watching it. Some of my fondest memories are watching basketball with my dad, playing the game. Even now, playing the game with my son. I love the game. And collecting basketball cards is another extension that I get to enjoy out of the love of watching the game. If you love baseball, collecting baseball cards is an extension of that love that you have for the game. If you love football, if you love soccer, if you love wrestling, if you love UFC, if you love, Aussie rules football, shout out to my people out in Australia. Collecting is an extension of that love of the game that you have. And if you start off that way, your time in the hobby is going to be so much more enjoyable. I'm begging you guys to stop listening to anybody and start finding out what you love and start collecting that, because that's going to bring you the most enjoyment in this hobby, and it's going to allow you to enjoy this hobby for a long time. Also, make no mistake about it, there are going to be times within this hobby, even if you start from a place of love, where you're going to walk away for a little bit, and you're going to come back for a little bit, and you're going to not buy a card for 3-4 months at a time, 2-3 years at a time. Then one day you're going to see something and it's going to spark you right back up, and you're going to get right back into it. There's seasons to this, right? Play the long game. This isn't the sexy quick flip. It's not always going to be about that. It's not always going to be there. And that's a way more sustainable way to enjoy this hobby. I also wanted to talk about grading. I want to make it very clear that when you are sending a card off to get graded, no matter who you send it to, no matter what company you send it to, you are paying for someone's opinion of the condition of your card. I say someone, but someone or something, because there's some AI stuff out there. And I don't really like throwing out the term AI, but whatever. We'll just use it for the sake of argument. But you're paying for that person's opinion. Whoever ends up getting your card and looking at it, whoever ends up doing the review on that card, you're paying for that person's opinion. And I say that very emphatically, like with a lot of emphasis on that. Because even though you're sending a card to a company and you're hoping that that grader grades that card to the company's standards, that it's not always the case. You're sending a card, and whoever gets it, it's the opinion of that person that you're paying for. There are some companies out there that are a little bit better at making sure that the collective group of graders understand those standards and adhere to them on a more consistent basis better. There's companies out there that are better than that than other companies. We're not even going to get into names. There's companies out there that make a better looking slab. There's companies out there that'll get you more money for your card once it's in their slabs. There's companies out there that have a thicker slab, a heavier duty slab. There's companies out there that have indestructible slabs, cards that you can run over them with a tank. There's several reasons to send your card to different companies. And I want you guys to understand that it's okay to send them to different companies for different reasons. You don't just have to tie yourself down to one camp, right? Because there's companies that do things better than other companies. I'm a perfect example of that. I have a smorgasbord of slabs in my collection. But at the end of the day, you're still just paying for that opinion. You're paying for that opinion. And no matter what happens, you have to understand that when you're sending your money there, when you're spending your money. I've been meaning to make this video for a little bit now, and being that we didn't have the podcast this week, I thought it was going to be a good opportunity to do so. But I really want everybody who subscribes to this channel and watches my content and all that stuff to really enjoy the hobby. And enjoy it for a long time. And to enjoy it sustainably. And I think the best way to do that is to start with a place of love when you get into this hobby. I really appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a like, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think. This was a bit of a rant. You guys know my style. When I make my videos like this, it's straight from the heart, right to the mouth. I don't really think about things too much. But I'm just seeing a lot lately in YouTube and on social media and things like that about the doom and gloom and all that stuff. And while I could be making videos about that, that's not really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how we got to this place of doom and gloom and why people are getting hurt. And it boils down to people just listening to other people and not listening to their heart, not listening to themselves and not listening to what they love. And they got caught. They got caught up in the hype and they didn't buy what they liked. Thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate you guys giving me this platform and this opportunity, this community that we put together. I mean, you know, it allows me to do videos like this, and I hope y'all like them. And maybe if you don't like it, it's because I said something that maybe touched on you a little bit. But either way it goes, I really appreciate you guys watching. I love y'all. I really mean it. Peace.